Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to this video presentation. Today I will be presenting a comprehensive review of a research article titled Edge Detection with LSB and AES Encryption based image steganography. This paper was authored by Sheikh Tanvir Alam, Munira Tabassum, MD Maruf Hassan, and Tawhid Boyan from University Malaysia Perlis, Daffodil International University, Southeast University Bangladesh, and Washington University of Science and Technology, USA. This research was published and presented at the 2025 IEEE 8 International Conference on Information and Communication Technologies, also known as ICICT 2025. In this presentation, I will talk you through every major section of this paper, starting from the background and research gap, all the way to the methodology, results, and future direction. So, without further delay, let's begin. Section 1, Background of the story. Let's start with the background of the study. To understand why this research matters, we first need to appreciate the broader context of data security in today's digital world. We are living in an era where the internet is the primary medium for communication and data transfer. Every day, billions of messages, files, and sensitive information travel across networks worldwide. And this creates a fundamental problem. How do we protect that information from unauthorized access? Historically, two major techniques have been developed to address this challenge. The first is cryptography. Cryptography, derived from the Greek word meaning secret writing, is the practice of converting readable data called plain text into an unreadable data called ciphertext using an encryption algorithm and a secret key. The key is simple. Even someone intercepts the message, they can't understand it without a decryption key. Cryptography has roots going all the way back to ancient Egypt and Rome. Today, it is the backbone of secure digital communication, from banking transactions to email encryption. The second technique is steganography. Steganography, also derived from Greek stego meaning cover and graphia meaning writing, takes a fundamentally different approach. Instead of making the message unreadable, steganography hides the very existence of the message. The secret data is embedded inside an ordinary looking cover media, such as an image, audio, file, or video. So a third party doesn't even suspect that any secret communication is happening. Now, here is the key distinction. Cryptography hides the content of communication. Steganography hides the path of communication. When you combine both, you get a dramatically more secure system. That is exactly the motivation behind this research paper. From a historical perspective, steganography is not new. It dates back to 440 BC, when the ancient Greeks of slaves wanted for the hair to grow back before sending them as messengers. During World War II, invisible ink was widely used to hide messages in letters. The German developed microdots, photographs. It reduced to the size of a period on a printed page. Even the British reportedly hid message inside vaccine barrels during India's colonization. Fast forward to today, we use digital steganography where secret data is embedded inside digital images using mathematical algorithm. One of the most widely used technique is called LSB, least significant bit substitution, where the last bit of each pixel value in an image is replaced with a bit of the secret image. error message. Because the change is in the least significant bit, it causes almost no visible distortion in the image. However, as we will see in a moment, there are significant gaps and weaknesses in existing approaches that this research aims to address. In section 2, research gap. In other words, what problems exist in the current state of the art that motivated this research? The author identified four major gaps in existing steganographic methods. Gap number one, pseudo random pixel selection. Selection causing distortion. Many existing methods use pseudo-random number generators to decide where in the image the secret data should be embedded. The problem with this approach is that some of those randomly selected pixels may fall in smooth, uniform regions of the image, like a clear blue sky or a white wall. When you modify the least significant bits of pixels in smooth areas, the changes are actually more noticeable to the human eye and more detectable to stegananalysis tools. This results in visual distortion and reduced imperceptibility. No pre-embedding encryption or lack of pre-embedding encryption. A large number of steganographic systems embedded the secret message directly as raw plain text without encrypting it first. This creates a critical vulnerability if an attacker manages to detect that the image contains hidden data and successfully extracts it. The message is immediately readable. There is no second layer of protection. Gap number 3, static and predictable pixel selection. Some earlier works, including a prior paper by one of the paper's own authors, used a fixed static method for selecting which pixels to use for embedding. For example, an 8-directional pixel selection method. While this may achieve decent image quality, a fixed pattern can be reverse engineered by a sophisticated attacker. Once the pattern is known, the entire steganography system is broken. Gap number 4, limited multi-layered security architecture. Very few existing methods successfully combine strong symmetric encryption like AES with intelligent content-aware pixel selection like edge detection. In a single unified and partial system, most methods addresses either security or imperceptibility, rarely both at the same time and rarely with real implementation. These four gaps clearly identify the need for a new approach, which is exactly what this paper purpose. Section 3, problem statement. Based on the identified gaps, we can now clearly articulate the problem statement of this research. The core problem: how can secret data can be transmitted securely over unsecured channels while remaining undetectable even if the cover medium is intercepted. This deceptibility simple question breaks down into three specific challenges. Challenge number 1, visual distortion. Embedding secret data inside an image often introduces subtle changes that can be detected by visual inspection or by automated stegananalysis tools. The challenge is to embed data in such a way that the stego image, the image with hidden data, is visually indistinguishable from the original cover image. Challenge number 2, single weak position mapping. If the embedding position are predictable or follow a known pattern, the system is vulnerable to symmetric attacks. The challenge is to use a position selection strategy that is both adaptive to the image content and resistant to detection. This paper directly addresses all three challenges through the proposed methodology. Scope of the research. Before diving into the methodology, let me briefly outline the scope of this research, that is, what is included and what is outside the boundaries of this study. In scope, the system works exclusively with PNG image format, specifically 512 multiply 512 pixel image. PNG is chosen because it uses lossless compression, which means the embedded data is preserved exactly without any degradation. The encryption layer uses AES with a 128-bit key implemented in C hash using .NET Framework version 4.7.2. Embedding takes place in the spatial domain, specifically using 1-bit LSB substitution at a pixel position identified by Sobel edge detection. The Sobel operator is the soul of edge detection mechanism used. No Laplacian methods, no canny, no machine learning. Performance is evaluated using three standard metrics: PSNR, peak signal to noise ratio, MSE, mean square error, and RSMSE, RMSE, root mean square error. Payload, payload sizes tested are 128 bits, 256 bits, and 512 bits. Out of scope. Audio and video steganography aren't addressed in this paper. JPEG or other loosey formats aren't covered. Machine learning based plain selection and steganalysis resistance are identified as future work. This clearly defined scope helps us set a realistic expectation for contribution and evolution of the proposed system. Literature review. Now let's look at the literature review, the prior work that has research built upon and ultimately improves. The author surveyed a range of steganographic methods published between 2012 and 2024. I will talk you through the most significant ones. Dragupta at EL 2019 proposed a steganographic method using fuzzy edge detection. Their approach applied fuzzy logic to estimate regions where more data could safely be hidden. The amount of data embedded per pixel was determined by its distance from the nearest edge using a Gaussian function, while innovative fuzzy logic adds computational complexity. Then Banik et al. 2019 used the Kirch operator, an edge detector that identifies the maximum edge strength across 8 compass directions. They created a 3-level scale based on pixel intensity and crash threshold values, guiding the selection of 2, 3, or 4 LSB layers. The H key was shared with the recipient as an individual secret. Bhadwaj et al. 2019 proposed combining edge detection with the optimal pixel adjustment approach (OPAP), which refines the pixel values after embedding to minimize distortion. Textured and complex regions were used to hide more data than smooth region. Wang et al. 2020 introduced a hybrid approach combining LSB substitution with a Hamming port LHLAH. This improved information security by exploiting the fact that sharp regions of an image can tolerate more modifications than smooth area. Dani et al. 2020 employed least significant bit machine revisited LSB MR with canny edge detection. This method ensures that the embedded message remains visually imperceptible by targeting only edge region. Prasad and Paul 2020 enhance embedding capacity by hiding more secret bits in each region versus smooth region using a modular function and a stego key. Stego key. Ayub and Seiwai 2020 worked on the DCT domain discrete cosine transform using multiple edge detectors. Parvik, Sobel, Laplacian, and Kenny, their method significantly reduced the stego image size stroke compression. Aimed at the 2024 and 2020. One of the main author of this current paper previously proposal on 8 a.m. directional pixel selection. Okay, selection. Good PSNR value the static pixel detection was identified as a weakness. Their 2024 filtering algorithm that improve quality. The key takeaway from the literature review in these most prior methods, most prior efforts either rely on pseudo-random or static pixel selection, embedded raw unencrypted data work in only one security layer. The proposal method address all of these limitations simultaneously. Methodology. Now we arrive at the heart of the paper, the proposed methodology. This is arguably the most important section, or I will explain it carefully and step by step. The proposed system is a two-layered secure data concealment and algorithm. Okay, that combines AES encryption with Sobel edge detection and one bit LSB embedding. The entire system is implemented in C hash hash. The process can be broken into two phase embedding and retry. Phase 1 lambing. In phase 1, lambing step 1 input. The image takes two inputs, the secret message plain text provided by the user and the cover message in PNG format. Step 2 AES encryption. AES encryption. AES encryption. Before any embedding happens, the secret message is first encrypted using AES with a 128-bit key. This key is chosen by its excellent balance of speed, memory efficiency, strong, and security. The AES algorithm operates in 10 seconds, each involving 4 key operations. Sub byte. Each byte of the data is substituted with a corresponding value from a lookup table under S box, providing non-linearity. Rows of the data matrix are cyclically shifted, providing diffusion across columns. Mixed column হচ্ছে 8 linear transformation is applied to each column of the data matrix further spreading the influencer of each byte. Then হচ্ছে add round key. The data is XOR and with a round specific sub key derived from the pocket. After 10 such rounds, the output is ciphertext, a completely unreadable encrypted version of the original message. Step 3. Sobel Edge-based. The cover image is then proceed using the using the Sobel Edge detection algorithm to identify the switchable pixel position for embedding. The Sobel method applies two multiplied two convolution marks, one in the one in the horizontal direction and one in the vertical direction. Estimate a gradient of the image at each pair. The gradient magnitude formula is V of f. V bar of f is root over del f divided by del x the whole square plus del f by del y whole square. Then we will get the del f. The grade pixel with a high gradient magnitude corresponds to h. Transitions from light to dark region. These are selected as the embedding position. The key insight here is that h region and are far less uh, sensitive to minor modification. Then smooth regions, so embedding data at edge makes the challenge virtually invisible. The author tested three images. Lena image, a pixel selection ratio is 27% in identifying few image region. Babon image, a pixel selection ratio of then we get the parrot image, a pixel selection ratio of 30% identifying moderate edge complexity. Seat position. Yeah. Seat position. The system also computes for fixed seat pixel position based on the image dimension and height h. Position 1 W by 2 minus 2 by 5. Then position number 2 W by h equal to 2 by 1 or 2. Position number 3 W by h plus 2 comma h. Position number 4 a 1 comma h divided by 2 plus h. Retrieval. These four positions store meta data, specifically the AES key, the size of the hidden message, and the pixel filtering the algorithm identifier needed the retrieval. This is a cover design because without knowing this position and correct AES key an attacker cannot cover the image even if they suspect something to hidden. Step number 5, 1-bit LSB embedding with XOR. The encrypted ciphertext bits are then embedded into filtered edge using the 1-bit least significant bit LSB method. Specifically, each secret data bit is XOR and with the sixth indexed bit of the RGB pixel value at the selected edge position. The RGB block is then updated with this new value. Because only 1 bit per pixel is modified and it's done or edge location. The visual impact is absolutely minimal. The result of this entire process is a stego image, a PNG image that looks identical to the original cover image, but secretly contains the encrypted message. Then retrieval. Retrieval process essentially reverses the embedding. The stego image is loaded, and the same Sobel edge detection is applied to re-identify the filtered pixel position. Step two. In step two, in step 2, we can see that the system reads the four fixed seed positions to retrieve the metadata, including the message size and the AES key. For step 3, for each filtered pixel, an XOR operation is performed on the 6th and 7th indexed bits of the RGB block to extract the secret data bits. Step number 4, once the message size is reached, extractions of the extracted bits are converted from binary to bytes to reconstruct the encrypted ciphertext. Tip number 5. Finally, the AES key is used to decrypt the ciphertext back into the original plaintext, recovering the secret message. The elegance of this system is that without the AES key, even if an attacker finds the hidden data, it is completely unreadable, and without knowing the embedding algorithm and seek position, finding the hidden data in the first place is extremely difficult. Result and analysis. Result analysis. Now it's look at the experimental results and analysis. How will the proposal method actually perform? Experimental setup. The system was tested on three standard benchmark images widely used in steganography research. Lena, also written as Lena Barboon Parrot. All images are 512 multiply 512 pixel in PNG format. Three payload load sizes were tested to 512 bytes. 256 bytes and 128 bytes. The implementation was done in 6 hash using ICT program 4.729. Performance was evaluated using three memories. PSNR, peak signal to noise ratio, measures the quantity of the stego image composed compared to the original. Higher PSNR is better, it means less distortion. NSE, mean square error, measures the average squared differences between corresponding pixels. RMSE, root mean square error. The square root of MSE in the same until as the pixel values lower in better. Result for Lena. At 512 bytes, the payload PSNR for 1216 68.33 dB. dB means sounds frequency. MSE 0.0027, RSME 0.0519. At 256 payload, PSNR equal to 71.46 dB, MSE 0.0013. At 128 keys layout, PSNR 74.67G, RMSE 0.0007. Results and Boon. At 512 PSNR 68.63.9 dB MSE. After 128 bytes, then 76.31 MSE 0.00006. Results with for parrot. at 512 bytes PSN 69.94 dB, then at least 512 important important observation from this result. Our payload size decreases, PSNR increases, and MSC decreases. This makes initiative people. Then a comparison with existing method. The proposed method was compared against two previous steganographic models using 512 byte payload in all of three images. For the Lena image, model 1 achieved a PSNR of 565.655 dB. Model 2 achieved 67.56 dB. The proposed method achieved 68.32 dB. The best, the Babon model 1.65, model 1 65.97 dB, model 2 67.33 dB, proposed 68.9 dB. Again, the best for parrot. Medical 65.97 dB, model 2 67.53 dB. The proposed of 98.97 dB against the best for parrot. Then across all the three things and all playboy sizes and payload sizes, the proposed months are outcomes for comparison. Then history analysis. The paper also represents histogram. The paper also represents the histogram. The paper also represents the histogram comparisons between the original cover images and the stego images. A histogram shows the distribution of pixel and intensity values across an image. If embedding data significantly alters the pixel distribution, the histogram will look different, and this is a red flag for stego analysis. The significant that the histogram of the cover and stego images are virtually indistinguishable, confirming that the embedding system has no statistically confirming that the embedding causes statistically significant change in the image structure. These differences, as the author note, cannot be predicted with the naked eye. Section number 8, conclusion. Let us now summarize the conclusion of this research. The paper successfully proposed and implemented a two-layered lecture image steganography system that combines AES-128 encryption is the first layer of security. Sobel edge detection with 1-bit LSB embedding as the second layer of PH. First, the system provided redundant security even if a stake analysis detects that the cover image contains hidden data. The extracted data is still encrypted and completely unreadable without the owner. Then second, the proposed method achieves superiority. Okay, third, we have read the second one. Now we'll read it third. The adaptive edge based on pixels selection using the Sobel operator ensures that data is embedded in regions where modifications are least perceptible, maintaining the virtual integrity of the summer. Then third, the adaptive based education using the Sobel operator ensures that the data is embedded in region where notification, maintaining the visual integrity of the stego image. Then fourth, the system is practically implemented in C hash with a clean functional interface, making in summary, making it switchable real world secure data transmission scenario. Summary: this image demonstrates that the combining cryptography and steganography carefully, combine their one friend besides of them, then higher quality than the either technique alone. Then future world. Future work. The authors also identify several directions for future work, areas where the proposed system can be further improved. Direction 1. Machine learning integration. The author suggests incorporating adaptive pixel detection. In direction one, machine learning integration. The authors suggest incorporating ML-based adaptive pixel selection to dramatically customize embedding regions and improve resistance to sophisticated deep learning based steganography attacks, which are clearly the steganography attacks, while the blooming increasing powerful. Direction 2, support for additional image. The image system is then converted limited to PNG matter. The future work should explore JPEG strategies also used for Indication 3. Dynamic key generation. Rather than using a fixed AES key, future generation are tied to image condensation method or to biometric region. Issue number 4. Multimedia steganography, extending the framework significantly. The broken is alphabetically done or completed. In step number 10, references. Here we can see the research draws on a rich body of prior work. Key references include a function of foundational work by Chilita and Farhat on combining steganography and cryptography. The work of the Banik, Gupta, Bhadraj, Wang, Deini, Prasad and Ayub on random edge based on Prasad, Ayub on various edge-based and hybrid steganographic methods from 2009 to 2020, and earlier work by the Graphia authors themselves, particularly alarm at year 2020 and 2024, which directly informed and motivated the design choice in the paper. A full reference list is provided in the slide and in the original paper published in IEEE Explore. Remarks, and that brings us to the end of this presentation. To quickly summarize what we covered today, we began with the background understanding why data security matters and how steganography and cryptography work. We identified the research gaps in existing methods, pseudo-random selection, lack of encryption, static pattern, and a single layer security. We clearly started the problem how to transmit the secret data security and undetectably. We defined the scope of PNG images, AES-128 Sobel Edge detection one lab, one totally for kid. Okay. We analyzed the result, the PSNR value exceeding 2064 dB and the proposed method outperforming all comparison models. And we discussed future direction, ML integration and new formula dynamic keys and more. The research makes us a meaningful contribution to the field of the information. Uh, particularly of the context of secure cover communication over unsecured digital channels. Then thank you so much for watching. I hope this presentation gives you a clear and true understanding of this research article. If you have any question or comment, please feel free to leave them below. Thank you everyone.